All right. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Debian India BoF here at DebConf 2022. With me here are members of the Debian India community as we see it. So I think first we should just say hello and introduce ourselves. I'll start. My name is Abraham Raji. I've been volunteering for Debian India community for a while now. And Debian India community at this point has become sort of like a family to me. And I'm really glad to be part of this group. Yes. One of you.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Raju. I have been part of the free software community across India. And is this not working?
It works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah. So for a while, yeah, I think that should suffice for now.
Hello, I am Akshat. So I am also associated with Debian India from last couple of years.
Hi, I'm Praveen. I've been with the Debian India community from probably the first Debian conclave, I think sometime around 2006-07, and then I've been part of various MiniDebConf, Utsavs, and various other events and talks. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Hi, I am Ravi, and I joined Free Software community in 2020, and then I met people like in this room who were also interested in Debian and told me about Debian, so I tried it, and then I become a part of Debian India community. So it's like around 2 years I'm a part of the community, and I mainly contribute in ways like publicity. I try to tell people about free software and Debian.
Hello, my name is Abhijit. I'm a Debian developer. I've been associated with the Utsav and local Debian community programs.
So, hey, I'm Pavit. So, I got introduced to Debian last year only through GSOC. And I'm like the latest addition to the community and looking forward to contribute more. Yeah.
I'm Shruti. I have been contributing to Debian since 2016. I was involved in a good number of like Debian and free software related programs throughout India, especially Kerala. Yeah, and
Hello everyone, I'm Anupa and Joseph coming from Kerala. I'm attending the DebConf for first time and glad to be part of this. And I've been part of the Debian India community for past 3 years, looking forward to actively engage in many activities in Debian. Thank you.
So to start things off, the pandemic was sort of helped us in a lot of ways. It made a lot of things very accessible for us. It made, like many other people, we were able to organize many events that would have taken a lot more effort from us if we were to try to do it at the same scale physically. We were able to engage with people from all over India in different ways. We were able to hold a MiniDebConf as well. So that was one way of operating for us, and that was sort of made possible through the pandemic and this particular circumstances that were at the pandemic. But before the pandemic, we had regularly, release parties, physical workshops, Deb Utsavs. So that was a different form of action for us. So now the pandemic is done. We have all this particular knowledge, skills, and technical acumens that we have acquired during the pandemic that could possibly complement the stuff that we have already been doing. So right now with this thing, I'm hoping that we can discuss different ways we can sort of strategize the activities of Debian India community for the next year or so. So yeah, anybody who would like to start?
I would like to say I don't know the future, how we are going to do it, but I'm very happy that we managed to pull off some very good events in the last 2 years with good numbers and good engagement as well. And the part I liked, because it was remote, a lot of people from around the world joined.
Yes.
So it was just not limited to a specific geographical area. It also allowed us to have a lot more languages because it was online, and the Indic track or the Indic track at the MiniDebConf was very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is like one of the things that I liked as well. So like, I think we mentioned this during the MiniDebConf as well. Like the whole point is that if we had to make an event specifically for a specific language track, previously we would have to have a physical event in that particular geographic location. But because of the pandemic, we were able to hold one big, giant MiniDebConf online, and people from all over India were able to join it comfortably from their own homes. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it is the same effect, probably.
Obviously, yes.
The numbers wouldn't probably it doesn't, help build a community as much as a, real or, usual before pandemic conferences where we meet face to face, talk to them, and even, the online, I think maybe the first time it was very exciting and people joined, but I think probably people got fatigue or they kind of don't show the same enthusiasm after maybe the second time when they we have an online
grew out
conference.
of the medium, probably. But like I personally think that during the first Free Software Camp, we had a lot of people who grew out to be really good volunteers for the community. So I think it was overall a positive impact on the community. But yes, I'd really like to discuss about revamping the Free Software Camp. So Anupa, Shruti, yeah.
Can you scroll a bit up? I'm also taking notes below.
Sure.
Yeah, so it would show up. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I would like to express that even if I have attended 2 DebConfs online before, so now I know that it's not the same. Like attending an in-person conference is entirely different, because attending a conference from a different time zone, like having talks in the middle of the night, you can't even volunteer for the video team. So having an in-person conference, you get to learn a lot of things. You get to learn about different projects. You get to know more people. So having in-person conferences and having in-person events do impact people in a different way.
Yes.
So in the same case, for Free Software Camp as well, when we had it, the first one was online, we had many participation from around India, even though it's not tied to a particular geographic location. We had much participation, and the second time it was not the same. So maybe we should try for small in-person events across India where we have people around India, and our community could, anyone can reach out to the bigger community and they will get help there. If we want to travel there, we will. So if someone wants to organize an event in their local area, you could easily contact any of us, and we will be more than happy to be there and to be with you to arrange events. So if anyone wants to arrange an event like that, please contact us, please reach to us, and we will make arrangements.
Yes. I think I failed to provide a little more context about Free Software Camp. So Free Software Camp was an initiative that we had brought out during the pandemic time. So it was basically in the spirit of initiatives like the GSOC, where we helped, starting from the introductory sessions, we helped bring people into free software and the culture and help them contribute to various free software projects. So that was Free Software Camp. But yes, I definitely agree with everything Anupa has said. The only sort of challenge that I think we will face is, again, it is related to geography, but more than that, I think Free Software Camp, because it was online, we were able to engage people for a period of 4 months. Right? But if you organize a physical camp, we should maybe discuss about how that is going to be. So we'll have maybe an introductory session that's physical, and then we
Maybe not continuously that
Yes,
long.
yes.
We will refresher camps in we will have refreshing camps in between, like maybe 2 or 3 days. And we will arrange a program in such a way that maybe an introduction session goes for 2 or 3 days, and later they can start looking for other projects.
right.
And then they can reach back to whoever their mentor is, and then they can keep
Yes.
in touch.
like maybe we can have like study groups in different geographical areas as well.
Maybe even day trips in between.
Sure. The sky's the limit. So like one of you, it would be great if you could add the link to the website for the free software camp. Anybody who's...
Yeah.
Okay. Raju, if you want to say something?
The comment I wanted to add is we have had some good events, and even pre-pandemic we have had some Debian Utsavs and MiniDebConf Indias. I think over the last few years we have gone down on small-scale events, not MiniDebConfs, maybe smaller release parties. Maybe just when a release is around, we have some release parties. That's good, but maybe a packaging workshop, a release party. We have a Debian Day coming up.
Yes.
So maybe smaller events for that. So it doesn't need to be like scheduled a big event. Very small meetup with very small stuff happening for a day or two. We have gone down on those kind of events. So we should have more of those events across India.
I agree. I agree as well. So I think that also comes. So like we have. So that takes us with sort of towards the next sort of thing, but like it's related, I think. So like if to organize small level events in much more small level events that are distributed over geographical locations, we need to bring back and help strengthen the local teams much more. Because right now, so another thing is that during the pandemic, since everyone was working remotely, we were able to come together and work as a single team. But previously, we were in different geographical locations, and we try to organize events in the particular geographical locations, such as unless we are organizing something big, like a MiniDebConf or Debian Utsav, we had local release parties. I remember the Stretch, when Stretch was, I think Buster was released, we had release parties in Kannur, we had release parties in Trivandrum, we had release parties in Cochin, and I think in different parts
in Delhi
of
as well.
In Delhi as well.
Yeah.
So, so I think if I agree with that, and I think just to add to the notes, what we need to do is we need to focus on strengthening the local teams again. Yes. Localization teams for various Indian languages. Again, something that we have been doing for a while, I think. I think Malayalam is going strong, so as Hindi as well, I think. But yes, we can always do more, because always we are pushing forward for better representation of India as a whole. Any points to add? Yes. Okay. But yes, I think that's that for localization teams. I think I think there's a lot of people from Kerala here, so there's a little bit of representation. Well, Devi or Pavit or Akshat, do you guys have anything to add to this? Specifically localization of various Indian languages, specifically your languages.
Yeah, I think we need to like promote Debian in our local areas so that more people come, and like I think there can be translation of wikis and other stuff about Debian so that it is accessible, easily accessible for the people in those languages. And I always try to reach out to the people to be in the Debian community, especially people who are from my language, which is Hindi. But usually, I think those people end up being more comfortable in English or something because they have done their education in English. So I think, yeah, things like translation and reaching out to local remote areas or things where they don't have as much awareness or things like that. And maybe we can, like for example, I can promote DebConf 23 or something from the local language stuff, and then they will get to know more about it and meet people outside the like outside their local.
Would be broken.
Yeah.
In a much better manner.
Yeah.
I
want to add that I would love to see Punjabi somewhere in Debian. But the issue is that I myself don't know how to contribute to that. Like, how I can make translation contributions or like awareness, lack of awareness there, like how to contribute. Like I would myself contribute to that, but we need that awareness to be there, that how to bring that thing up.
I think that is something that we need to work as a whole. Pranath, I think.
Yeah, I think we can definitely help with how to get started with. I think there was a BoF for translation specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already missing it. I need to be there.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll watch the video later, and we will.
And I think so Larjuna was also said if anybody is interested in translations, she can guide. So maybe you can connect her.
Yes. But yeah, it's definitely a big uptaking to translate Debian. But I think it's definitely something that's worth it. Raju?
A lot of softwares in Debian, which are packaged for Debian, as well as native software for that, like Debian installer. They have most Indian languages present, but a lot of Indian languages are missing, and most of the Indian languages which are present also needs continuous updations. If I could tell you, I used to install Debian in Marathi properly from start to finish, and I loved doing that because I really enjoyed the whole experience. And Debian installer is like big. The steps are huge. A lot of it is untranslated right now because people are not doing it very actively. So if you could start for Punjabi, I would love to see it there. Yeah.
I don't particularly read, write, or understand Punjabi, but I'd like to see it as well.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Anybody else would like to add a point to that localization? So, is that it? Great. Now, this is something that I'd like to emphasize. So, again, Debian, a lot of people involved in Debian are technical. They are maybe university students, or they are in the IT industry. But I think there's a space in Debian today for people who are not technical. And I think more such people come in, I think the more we can make Debian more accessible to people like that. So whether it's in terms of how to contribute to Debian. So one thing that we discussed during the Debian Art BoF is that, so someone who wants to, who is an artist, who is say someone who is an artist as in like a sound designer or a musician, or someone who is a graphics designer, it is not very simple for them to find out how they can contribute to Debian. Or it is not in these means that they are used to. So they are probably professionals, they're working in their fields, and they are probably the best in their fields. But this is a foreign land for them. And I'm not sure how much we can change or what we can change, but I think introducing more people to this part of the world, I would call it part of the world, but to this universe, and helping them migrate to free software tools, I think that is a really good first step. And I think more than artists, I think I would also say we had a significant success in my teachers, with people who teach at schools. And I think those are very important. Such people know about free software and about Debian. So I would like to see more events aimed at such people at their level, at where they are, to hold such events. So would anybody like to talk about that? Yes, actually.
I think that also makes a great impact. Just now I am imagining, if we have a Debian themed music, like Debian anthem or something, like we are playing somewhere. So we get a feel of that. And apart from that, if we have some good artwork, because that really helps in popularizing the Debian. Just now, right now we symbolize Debian with a swirl. So if we have some music and some other artworks, and also if we have certain different blends of Debian all together merged with Debian logo, so that makes a great thing for popularizing.
After the Debian Art BoF, I was sort of, I had this thing in mind where we have people who use Debian for artwork. Maybe we can have an art exhibition, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm too ambitious, but let's see. But yeah, that is one of the things that I really want to do.
Yeah. From 2012-13, we have started popularizing Debian at the Science Day, which is happening in in India. It's on 28th of February. So in giant meter wave radio telescope, they have Science Day being celebrated for 2 days, 28 and first and the next consecutive day. So there, under this free software community, we used to go and popularize Debian a lot among students, working professional, researchers. So yes, we have managed to popularize it there very well, and and we also get a lot of calls from them because of this popularization at the Science Day. So yes, it's a very good way of connecting with them. Also, I feel like the best way we can able to popularize Debian is like if we connect to the students. If you told, like in Kerala, we have Linux from the very initial stage, like at the primary schools. So that is the best way, because if they get to know all this, suppose GIMP at a very early stage rather than a Photoshop, it will be, because they already get to know things. So it's very good if we can interact with the students and like primary as well as college students. So it will be a great one. So this non-technical stuff, like we talk, like music or this artwork, will really help a lot.
Yes. And I definitely think that going to schools is something that we should definitely try at some point. One challenge that I see with that is that it is not very easy for an unregistered organization to go into any particular school organization. But that is a challenge for us, and we are challenges are nothing new for us, so I think we'll figure it out. Pranat, are you going to say something?
Yes. Yeah. So we were having some similar discussions during the derivatives BoF. A lot of artists could be musicians or image artists or vector artists. They don't prefer to use Debian or even Ubuntu. Some of them do, but they don't prefer to use these distributions. They prefer to go with something like OS X or some for Windows. So in the derivatives BoF, we also discussed, not like after derivatives BoF, how can we make Debian a lucrative distributions for these people? I know this is a Debian-wide problem and not the Debian India-wide problem, but if you could find solutions for this issue locally, or maybe make Debian or one of the releases more flashy to look at, or just promote the tools well, if we could think around, not right now, but later on how to lure these people to Debian, that would be very good.
Again,
we have discussed about this in that design BoF. So we have a discussion regarding if we could have a blend especially for that, which carries all these multimedia tools and some design artwork. So that will be very good, like as you have mentioned about this.
In the spirit of like Ubuntu Studio.
Something very similar.
Yeah. Yes. And like, I think I agree with Raju. So like, again, big initiative to undertake, but like, I think again, definitely something that's worth it.
I think there's already a Debian multimedia team, right?
Yes, I think
yes,
but it's for the packaging tools.
there's a blend of like meta packages for Debian multimedia
Meta
or something.
packages possibly, but like not as in like a full-fledged desktop experience. So like what we are getting at is that we want to, so like again, this is for non-technical folks, people who are not very used to customizing or installing packages that will change the way.
No, what I meant is there is an Debian multimedia meta packages kind of,
Maybe we can talk to the multimedia team and see if they're interested to make a blend. And
that is something, so like we sort of formed a design team during this DebConf with similar agenda, and we are hoping to build up to this. We are hoping to see what, so we are hoping to start small, to see what are the small changes that we can make that will cause bigger impacts, and we are hoping to collaborate with rest of Debian so that we can sort of make something like this happen.
So,
Yeah, so I think even, the website redesign, the front page itself, I think it also probably now helps people to connect better with Debian. So, yeah, I think that's a good step.
That is something that I actually looked into. But again, we have a lot of translation is one thing, but then again, data. So I think if that needs to happen, like someone can try from one end and make a proof of concept, but at the end of the day, we will need to make a step forward as a community and decide, okay, we need a redesign, or we need to make this more accessible, or we need to improve the user experience. But I think such a discussion needs to happen. I'm not sure if this is the platform for it, but yeah, I agree. Yes.
I just looked into the Debian blend section, and it does have a multimedia blend, but it doesn't have a release. It's just the meta packages. So some of the blends also provide installation media, but there is none. So this is maybe something we could work upon, on having a Debian blend for multimedia, which is like by default very nice for non-tech people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, again, same. I personally agree on that. I think if we have something like that, it would not just be for, so like in terms, so I'm talking in terms of user experience here. So if we are able to provide something that is as good as in terms of user experience in compared to existing operating systems like Mac OS or Windows, I think more than just artists, I think general public would be interested in something like that. That comes out of the box with, But yeah, I think that requires a lot of discussion, because there are a lot of moving parts involved, including desktop environment, which comes from somewhere else upstream, and there are all these different applications, all of which have their own upstream. So it's a big undertaking.
A good point to start would be just packing it up together and having a release. Yeah, maybe,
Yes.
and then we can look into how to make it look better.
Yes, definitely.
Because most of the tools are already packaged. Yeah.
Right. Yes, even like previously for graphics and stuff, the media codecs was an issue, like getting the right codecs. But like nowadays, I think it's gotten way more better. You have to install just one package. But there are people who actually don't know that is what they have to do.
If I have to give an example, Ubuntu Studio uses XFC or LXT.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Yeah, which is already there in Debian. Yeah.
So yes, I think that is that about events, initiatives aimed at non-technical folks. Now, so obviously this year is going to be a big year for us. There's going to be a lot of effort from everyone in this room, I think, regarding the next DebConf. So ever since we got the bit, we had this idea of having precursor events before the DebConf, like maybe MiniDebConfs. I think we will also have time for a few release parties. Hopefully we'll have a release next year, stable release. So we'll be having few release parties as well, possibly. But yes, I don't want it to be in spite of what Raju said, I don't want it to be just maybe one or two big events, like a few Deb Utsavs here and there. I'd be really happy if we are able to organize small-scale local events wherever possible. Anybody would like to share some thoughts on that? As in about the precursor events that should happen.
Yeah, I would like to see some public campaigns happening. Like in cities, we could try to get permission from the public authority and put up a stall or somewhere and then start giving stickers, maybe T-shirts.
That would be nice.
I think that will attract more people, but even then, we have to give them an idea about what the philosophy in Debian stands for and how you can contribute to Debian. So I'm feeling positive, like at least few of them will be happy to join us. So maybe installation parties during installation fest during the release parties can happen.
Yes.
And if people want to try Debian, they could check it with our laptops, which is already installed with Debian, and then they can know more about Debian as well. So such small events in small towns could attract more people to Debian. So that's one idea I have.
And I'm very partial towards events like DebUtsav because like that is one of the events where I got introduced to the Debian India community. So I think maybe like we have, we have an event, there are maybe 100 participants, but there are like 10 turnovers who stay, but like I think those people are still worth the event. And people who have stayed like that have been with us for long and have been regular contributors to Debian. So yes, that is one, I didn't actually think about that, but like when she mentioned it, it actually really clicked with me. Actually, yes.
So maybe in coming Science Day, we can have this Debian themed, Debian.
We have a stall.
Yeah.
Yes, like a stall.
We already have stalls for that. So maybe this time we can have particularly one dedicated stall for that. Usually we share a stall with Mozilla India and Free Software Community of India. Maybe we can request one specifically for Debian India also. So it will be great. If it will be great if people can come down to Pune also. And it's like a huge event. It's like 20,000 people will be coming on one day. So it's a two-day event. So maybe we will be able to connect with a lot of people. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think similar to the Science Day, maybe, there are other events happening in other places, or maybe, meetings of organizations who are working in like science or other activist groups. In their meetups, maybe we can set up a stall and talk about Debian and free software that could help.
Definitely, definitely.
So I just wanted to add, I'm more than happy to have a lot of small events, but at the same time, we should try to have at least 2 big events in the next year, maybe as a rehearsal for organizing. So yeah, at least 2 DebUtsav or MiniDebConfs, anything.
Yes.
We should have that in our, that should be one of our primary agenda. Before DebConf, we should have organized at least 2 events. Smaller events coming up, it's always good to have.
But aren't we trying to minimize our, advertising the DebConf? Isn't it?
No, it's we will have some, we need volunteers. So this MiniDebConfs, we can get more volunteers. So let's see how things work out.
I think so maybe we can have a plan, as in we start with small events, maybe we focus on one area at a time. I don't know, depending on the volunteer availability and the amount of people who can take the initiative. Maybe we have start with small events in a particular area, maybe a few colleges nearby, and finally in the area we can have a MiniDebConf or DebUtsav. So so if I take for example say Kerala, we can have a few colleges where we actually can go and maybe take a packaging workshop or maybe an introductory session, and maybe we do this for a few weeks, and by the end of these weeks we have a DebUtsav. And I think that would have a lot of impact, as we can probably get students from all these places that we previously had small events at.
Yeah, I think there is an engineering college very next to Info Park.
Yes.
Even the hotel people are saying if you can't get a hall in the Info Park, maybe you could get in the
Rajagiri College.
Rajagiri.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we could try to organize some events there. I think.
I'm also aware of Jain University. They are also in Info Park. So I think, yeah, we have a few colleges. FISAT as well.
Yeah, I think in the 4 points, the staff there, they already have contacts in Rajagiri, or if other people have, then we can try.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to add that we shouldn't limit people coming to Debian India, of course, but DebConf, we might not be able to manage too many people. That's what we were talking about. But still, people coming to Debian India is always welcome as a part of the whole worldwide Debian community. So one thing I want to mention is in Kerala, we have various force cells and force clubs in called technical institutions. So people from there are aware of free software, and many people are interested in Debian as well. That's how we got people like Abraham joining our community. And many students from there started to contribute, and somehow they got busy with their life by getting a job later, like they are working full time, they are not able to fully contribute their time for the community activities. So maybe we should start recruiting more people who have more time. So that's also one thing that we have to look upon. Like people who are new to the community, they may have more time to learn and contribute more. So recruiting new people is always something that we can do to have more volunteers.
Right. So if managing the volunteers is an issue, like we can discuss more on it, obviously. But if it's an issue, like we can also plan like maybe online sort of like events that can engage the community. I'm not entirely sure as to what path we should take there, but like, so I think we will obviously have small events in colleges maybe before like as we discussed before that, and maybe like we have, after that, we just keep them engaged via the community. We have maybe, I'm not really sure, so like maybe we can have challenges, maybe that sort of thing. So I think it's important that once even if we like move on, so we conducted Debian Utsav and then we move on to maybe another city, but like we have to keep the community engaged. I think that is something that free software communities often, they are good at holding events, but then the continuous follow-ups and sort of like keeping the community engaged is something that we have to work on. I think that is something that I think that should be good. So I think we have covered the precursor. We had good discussion about the precursor events as well. Lastly, so we have 10 minutes, and I'd really like to hear your wish lists for DebConf 23, because everyone has. I feel like everyone is looking forward to this event because all of us have. Actually, they are working towards this event, and I'd personally like this to represent the community of India and everyone here personally. So I think we should all have a wish list for what we'd like to see in the next DebConf. I'll start. Me personally, so I feel like, again, I'd like to see a lot of new people, and even in the, so like my whole story is that I somehow got into volunteering for Debian Utsav, and the person who was handling the volunteers gave me some responsibilities, even though I was pretty much a new guy, and that sort of helped me get into touch with these people. So like I'd like to create a way for the community in India who does not get to meet people like high voltage people like Antonio Tercero on a regular day. I'd like to create a platform for the kids in our place to get to meet these people, talk to them. I think it's a totally different experience it's going to be a totally different experience for them. Praveen is our own gem, so he's always here. But yes, obviously Praveen too. But yes, that is what I personally want from this DebConf. I'd like to create a place where people can get exposed to this different culture and different environment that we have here at DebConf. Yes. Ravi? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say good and diverse food. And sure. Whatever you said in addition to that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think I just want to add a note about the previous point, follow-up things. I think it's kind of also related to like how we communicate. Like earlier, I think when all of us were using email, it kind of was easy to have communities. But now all the new generation probably they don't use email, and then if you are on Metrics or XMPP, they also don't use that. So I think there is that challenge. Most people are on WhatsApp. That is also, I think one impediment to, people like continuing in the community, because many of the times they, start using metrics. They are in the group, but then after 2 days they just go away and it's.
Yeah, it's a dead account. Yeah, I think yes, that is. But like, yeah, I also feel like, again, we need to find ways to keep them engaged within the community. Yes, Utkarsh.
So there's something that I'd like to bring up. This is also something that has been discussed in the starting. In the community activities post-pandemic part, like, Brazil has done a good job in promoting their community. And so they have like weekly meetings, and the turnout is really good, right? If you see the amount of people who are there from Brazil who have started, which is like super awesome, right? And their retention rate is also higher, right? So we start, but then people lose track and they want to go, right? So they also have Telegram channel for the Gen Z people. And I think this is something that we should do. Like I really support IRC, Matrix and everything, but if you don't use these applications, there's always going to be, people falling out and everything. So there's one thing that, and then maybe like weekly called or bi-weekly or bi-monthly called, something like that Debian Brazil does, which is like
how are
super
those?
awesome.
Are they like online or are they offline things?
They are online because Brazil is
big,
huge, and India is super
Also.
huge, right? So it's very hard to have like offline events all the time.
Right.
So they meet once every week or once in 2 weeks or something like that. And then they have like a discussion for an hour in case like people have questions, they do ask. Otherwise, that's just an hour call. So if you can have things like that, that'll be super awesome. And then, people have more questions and more time to ask.
Yes.
This is something that we used to do earlier. From what I remember, Praveen used to have a packaging workshop every week on IRC. That is what, 2014, 15, when we used to have this. So even now we could have something similar. It's just that some of us needs to step up and be there every 2 weeks to get it done. So it's not a matter of whether we want to do it. Some of us needs to step up to do it.
Just saying, these things look good on the application, DD application, and I know for a fact that some people have applied to be a DD, this DebCon, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we also have meetings, but that doesn't end in 1 hour. Like we have 3 or 4 or 5 hours meeting continuously going on, but this happening in, what's that?
That's Utkarsh being Utkarsh, yeah.
But that might happen once in a week or maybe once in a month, but that's fun. Yeah. So maybe we should consider having that more. But we have very limited time now. I would like to add another point. This is not my wish list. This is a request. So to all people watching online also, if you are submitting a talk for DebConf next year, of course, then please do consider sending a mail to content team if you are not appearing for the talk. So I would really like to know at least before the talk that if you are doing it or not. So yes, thank you. That is a request.
We just had a talk with
Great on
the
that.
speaker from India didn't show.
So yeah, I think again, so maybe if the issue is like we have 3 or 4 hours, maybe we have to make it more curated so that we can do it more often and it's in a specific time. But yeah, we'll have to discuss on that in much more detail. But I think yes.
Wish list, faster.
Wish list.
Yeah.
Swag, which includes Amundo with Debian Swal.
Okay.
Yes.
A diverse lineup of speakers. Because
Yes.
Not just from Kerala, speakers from all over India.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah,
It's not like we go behind people in Kerala to submit the talks. It's like people from Kerala end up submitting the talks. Come ahead and submit the talks.
Yeah, I think part of the credit goes to Praveen for his efforts because most of us are here because of him. At least me personally. I saw him and he was a big inspiration for me. Yes, I definitely like more swags. Yes, and we are down to 1 minute. So I think, yes, Abhita.
For the wish list, learning from the mistake, not having a talk room on top of the floor and I heard that video team had so much trouble importing their things, so we should have that fixed very early before the campus. Yeah.
All right. We need soaps in the bathroom for everybody and all the other thing.
Okay. So yeah, I think we are very close to our end. Thanks for everyone who joined, both here and who's probably watching the stream. And yes, see you next year in India.